Hello and welcome everybody to another video about my 999 challenge. Today we're going to be going through and looking at everything on my farm. We're going to start away from the farm, check out the entire world. I'm going to try and leave no screen unturned. We're going to look at the various things that I've done and why I've done them in the various parts of the world. Then we're going to come back here to the farm and look at why we have the layout we currently do right now. And then after that, we're going to go through each and every one of our chests here and explain what's in each of them, why all of them are kind of colored the way they are. And also we'll go through the house here and see everything that's in here and why it is the way it is. So I think, without any plan in particular, we're actually going to go ahead and start on Ginger Island. Actually, there isn't much over here, I don't think, but we'll just take a quick look to make sure. Yeah, I haven't done anything with this area. I've considered turning this into a tree farm, but there just isn't a whole lot of room. So putting trees here really wouldn't do all that much. And then I do come in here occasionally for fishing, but there isn't really much reason to put anything in there. So while I do come into the jungle occasionally, once per year really, to clear out these weeds and hopefully get a mummified frog, I don't actually have anything placed here, mostly because I want the space for weeds to grow whenever they need to grow. I'm actually going to take the Parrot Express here to the volcano, and we can start talking about volcano runs and such. So first of all, I have all these trees here. You'll notice that almost none of them have moss, because at the end of every month and on the 14th of every month, I go through and I clear out all of these trees of moss. So right now, almost none of them have regrown their moss, because literally the day before, yesterday in game, I cleared these all off of moss. So we're going to see a few different locations where I've got trees to clear for moss. It's just the fastest way that I can find to gather moss. Right here is the entrance to the volcano. I've put a few things out here in order to be able to grab them quickly if I'm heading into the volcano. One of them is just the Junimo chest. Inside my Junimo chest, I just keep a bunch of useful things that I might need at any point, and then I've got Junimo chests spread all around the map in various locations. So I've got extra rings here. Depending on what I'm doing, I want certain rings for doing those things. Like if I'm fighting monsters, I want my monster rings, and if I need the plus luck buff, I use these as well. I don't normally have my plus luck buff rings on anymore because they're actually actively bad for fishing. Not by a lot, but it actually reduces the amount of fish you get because you catch more jelly. So I don't want to wear plus luck if I don't have to. Over here, you'll see I have a sign that says diamonds. I can't walk into the volcano without seeing the sign. And the reason being is I need to give 10 diamonds to the dwarf in the middle of the volcano to get a book each day. Well, not every day, but just on the days I go into the volcano. I need 999 of those books, and you can only do it once per day. So we can head on down to the dig site, which I keep mostly clear because once per Monday, I actually come through and I bomb all of these rocks here. This is a good way to get some of the fossil artifacts. In general as well, this river here can spawn these what would you call that? Panning spots. And they chain very nicely too. So whenever I'm coming through here, I look for these panning spots. I need to be able to get those in order to get fossilized tails. It's the only way to do so. This chest here is where I drop everything off that I don't need. So basically everything in here are items that I don't need for stacking. So every time I go through and I bomb, I just come over here and I press this and it adds everything in here. Occasionally I do have to clear it out. As you can see, the clay and the stone gather a lot more quickly than everything else. I also use these bone fragments for challenge bait. So I come and grab these quite often. There'd be a lot more here otherwise. And we can take this over to the farm area of Ginger Island. On our farm area of Ginger Island, we have the seed maker thing here. I have not actually used this in a while, but in case I need seeds, this is a really good way to do it. It's pretty much exactly the right length. It's a little longer, but pretty much exactly the right length that if I'm running with full speed and putting things in it, if I go through this entire candy cane shaped thing and get back to the bottom, it's ready again by the time I get back there. I have a few trees here in order to get maple syrup, pine tar, and oak resin if I need them. I haven't needed them in a long time though, so they're kind of just there for fun now. You can barely see it now, but there are a few chests here. I was mostly using these chests for certain other things when I was using Ginger Island as an actual farm and not as a tree farm, as you can see it is now. So you can see a few different things here, just kind of some leftovers. This one though, this one's kind of important. These are all of the saplings that I need to turn into iridium. I started working on it and then I realized I'd rather use the Ginger Island area for a moss farm for now, and we're going to come back to finishing these off later. You can see I've done the apple saplings, the first batch of apple saplings to iridium already. You have to have a tree sitting for 4 years before they become iridium. There's a neat little trick you can do where if you cut them down when they're silver and then replant them, what you are able to do is replant them and they'll grow faster into iridium. However, that's a lot of work and I have a lot of years to sleep, so there's not really a reason for me to do it. So I just plant them, and then 4 years later, I can simply just cut them down and get the iridium saplings. What are these Junimo stars? These are Junimo stars. What are the star items? These are Junimo stars. These stars are just furniture items. You can place them on walls, but I use them as like a space filler. So originally this chest was completely full. Sorry, this chest here, actually that one too, was completely full, and I wanted an exact amount of stuff that I could put in there without going over. So I have these there to kind of just make sure I didn't go over, and I just never got rid of them. So here is the inside of my Ginger Island farmhouse. At some point, I might use this area for storage, especially for like when I complete stacks and I need a place to put them all. But for now, I've just got a bunch of random stuff here. I honestly don't even remember what's in some of these chests. Ooh, coffee beans. And then nothing for a few of them. I also have a big chest of blueberries over here somewhere for a reason we will go talk about in just a moment. This is more tree farm, by the way. I very recently planted this. So this is another area from moss, and it goes all the way down to the beach as well. I get about a stack twice a month now, which is a lot faster than it was before. So there isn't really much over here. I used to use this area for dehydrators and a few other things as well, but I finished everything I need, most artisan goods. I think I finished pretty much all artisan goods at this point. There's a few exceptions, but as a result of that, I kind of just don't need this area anymore. I could plant some more trees here, but it would be like a lot more scarce than over there, so there isn't really a good reason for it. This is the nut room where I can complete quests. We can actually see what my quest is this week. I don't typically take either of these quests because they take too long to complete. I could take Danger in the Deep and use a bunch of ladders to get 50 Q gems, but it takes like 10 minutes or so, and it turns out 10 minutes to 50 Q gems isn't actually a great ratio when there's some I can finish in like less than a minute. It's speaking of finishing them in less than a minute, if we come in here, you can see I've got a bunch of colored items. I've got the prismatic shards, so I can put 4 in whenever I get the quest for prismatic shards, and I've got the prismatic Grange quest stuff as well. So these are yellow items, these are red items, these are orange items, these are green items, these are purple items, and these are blue items. So if you're wondering what all those blueberries are for, I made a bunch of extra in case I need more. And in fact, it looks like I'm running low on them, so pretty soon I will have to refill this. And that should be, yeah, that's everything for Ginger Island. So let's go home really quickly. Next, we're gonna go to, let's just do the desert really quick, because that'll go pretty fast. Our desert is a big old tree farm. Importantly, on desert days, on Thursdays rather, if we come up here, on Thursdays, you can buy a magic rock candy for 3 prismatic shards. So on Thursdays, I come by, I grab all of these jade as I'm coming by. I grab the 3 prismatic shards, drop off the jade, and then I buy the rock candy from here. So I go through and I do all of our moss farming as we're going through all this. I do also want to go take a look really quickly in Skull Caverns while we're here, because I do have a few chests in here. So my main reason for having a bunch of chests in here is we needed a bunch of ladders to get all of our auto petters. Now, I got all those ladders before we had a very easy way to get... Yeah, I got all these ladders before we had bigger chests, and I just never replaced the chest. But this is the amount of ladders about that I'm gonna need to get all the auto petters. On the plus side, the Desert Festival made it so my luck is a little higher when I'm doing the dives, so I actually need less than this number of ladders now, but I mean, I might use them for other things, and I've got another Jumo chest here as well. I don't think there's too much more in the desert. We are gonna take this opportunity though to stop by Oasis in the casino to check some of my stats. Nothing really in the casino. I don't really come by here much anymore. With good enough luck, you are guaranteed to gain like over time. So I would just leave this running while I was on breaks. And then eventually over time, you'd hit enough jackpots and stuff where you just get enough. This is where you buy statues of endless fortune. I had to buy 999 of these, but I'm all done now. Here are all of these stats. So let's go ahead and take a look at these really quick. So this is after technically 95 years of gameplay. So if these stats do not compare to yours, that's the reason for that. I have over, is it 11 million? Yeah, 11 million steps taken. This one hasn't gone up in a while, but over 3,000 gifts given. Over 10,000 days in Stardew. This one goes up once per day. 96 or almost 97,000 dirts hoed. Nearly 450,000 items crafted. And we're not done with that one yet either. We have a few more stackable items we have to craft still. 335,000 items cooked. This goes up a lot because I use the bread method of Q's Cuisine. So I always cook 1,667 bread every time I get the Q's Cuisine quest. In addition to that, I have to recook all of my cookables because we're going to be switching to gold star cooked items. There's a number that hasn't changed in a long time. 20,000-ish trash recycled. I haven't had to recycle trash in quite a while now. Nearly 500,000 monsters slain. Nearly 161,000 fish caught. 154,000 lines cast. Nearly 900,000 seeds sown. And 1.5 million items shipped. I don't even remember why I had to ship that many. I guess that's just where a lot of my money came from. And that's all the stats at the casino, which you can always find on my Discord, by the way. I post them every so often in the 999 challenge info, and I'm going to post them there in a little bit as well. So that's the desert all done. Let's re-up our buffs here, and we're going to go... Let's go north first. The Backwoods has a whole bunch of kegs. The reason being is this is one of my kegging areas. I would come in through the bus stop and go through all of this, go through the bus tunnel here, keg all through there, come back out, and then keg all the way up through here. I no longer need to keg anything though. This is like my money-making method. I just have not bothered to clean any of this up. So all these kegs are purely aesthetic now. As far as this area back here, so many people like walk through this that I don't really bother to just like put stuff down. But if we come over to this side where there's a lot less people walking, you can see we've got all of our kegs here as well. And if we come down and across here, this was all kegs as well. I recently switched all of these kegs over here to fish smokers. So this is where I smoke all the fish as I get the stacks of them. 200 fish smokers, and this is pretty much exactly as much as I can go as I go in a loop through here. By the time I get back to the front of it, they're ready to go again. So I can just do a continuous loop here. All right, let's head back to the mines really quick and take a look there. This is a little more kegging. There used to be more in here, but I cleared it out just because it kind of started getting in my way. But it looks like I've got a few things in here. There's some chests I laid out around the map that had like bobbers in them for when I needed them. This is as close as you can get to like fishing in the mines. So that's where these bobbers are for. Although I haven't used these in a very long time, and I should probably just recover them at this point. All right, this is the railroad. And in the railroad, you'll see I have a very interesting setup. I have all these mystic trees here for mystic syrup. I technically don't need mystic syrup anymore. I mean, I kind of do. It's a little hard to explain. I have all the mystic syrup I need for stacking, but I need more to make treasure totems, because treasure totems I can then use to get more stacks. So eventually I'll be coming back here a little more often. I don't know how many mystic syrups I need yet. I haven't really worked it out, so I'm just leaving this up until I need them. There used to be mystic trees here until our good friend Sebastian walked through and demolished them all. You might wonder about the torches as well. So I put down flooring to prevent stuff from spawning, but when 1.6 originally came out, pathing did not actually stop debris from spawning. So I had to add the torches to prevent the debris from spawning. That has since been fixed. So the torches are no longer necessary, but they do light up the area very well. And let's quickly go and check over in the Witch's Swamp, because I do actually have some stuff in the Witch's Swamp. So right here, I do have another bobber thing. I have finished fishing here, so I don't need to fish here anymore. We come here and we see we have a bunch of prismatic shards for some reason. If we can come in here, we can see why. I have been liberating my children. The main reason for that is, let's see if we get a little lucky here. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh gosh. Don't let anyone ever tell you that kids aren't dangerous. All right, now that I can talk. The main reason I've been liberating children, this is where I come, by the way. If I have a child, I come and give a prismatic shard and then they become a doll, is because every time you kill them, they have a chance of dropping a golden mystery box. And I need 100,000 golden mystery boxes in order to get enough books of mystery for the challenge. So the best way to do that is to gather hundreds, possibly thousands, we'll see how many kids we get, of these cursed dolls in here, and kill them over and over and over again, because after you kill them, if you walk out and you walk back in, they just respawn. So once I gather enough of them here, I can kill them over and over again. And as a result of that's going to be my way of farming all these golden mystery boxes I needed. It will also get me some other useful things like golden animal crackers, but we should be fine on golden animal crackers even without that. Okay, so we went up north. Let's go south. So I come to the ocean quite regularly. The main reason being is I need these. I need oysters, cockles, and mussels. So whenever oysters, cockles, and mussels appear on the beach, I'm going to pick them up. So I come twice a week, usually on Friday and Sunday, just because that's also the days I go to the traveling cart. Down here is where I fish for night market fish. So this is where I put all my extra stuff that I don't want in my inventory. I do need to clear this out occasionally because it starts filling up pretty quick. But basically, when I catch a fish with a chest, I get a lot of this other stuff that I don't care about. So rather than just deleting it, I just quickly can go and press this button and put it in there. I fish down here for a few things as well. So this is a similar chest where I just put all my extra stuff. I don't normally, because I use challenge bait when I'm catching fish here, so I don't normally get any treasure, although I occasionally get a little. So most of this is just trash. As we come up here, these are my raccoons. I guess these are the raccoons, but they're my friends. So occasionally every Sunday, because the quest happens once per week, so on every Sunday they'll give me a new quest, and I have all of the items prepared that they can ask for here. So no matter what they ask for, I can very quickly come grab it and then complete the quest. This allows me to be able to complete the quest in seconds. I don't even have to like go make the thing, so I can complete it every Sunday. This is where the traveling cart would be, had it be a traveling cart day. So every traveling cart day, I come here and I look for pickles, jelly, and juice. This is the secret woods. You might notice I have some pathing here. Originally, I had that pathing there to prevent forage from spawning in places where I couldn't easily see it. And I guess that's kind of still why it's there, but I don't need forage from here anymore. And in fact, I'm done with all the fish I can get from here now, so I'm not really going to come to the secret woods at all anymore. We can go check the bottom of Cindersap. Actually, I'm going to get here through a different method. So let's head home first. We're going to go into town the normal way here. Right here, I have a bunch of slime incubators. You might have noticed that I have slime jacks in my pond, which give me a lot of slime. I'm currently using these slime incubators in order to turn them into red slime eggs, because that's the last slime egg I need to stack. And this is unfortunately the best way of doing that. At my bus stop here, you can see I have a bunch of kegs. I actually used to have a lot more, but 1.6 changed the pathing, so I just pulled a bunch of the kegs out of the way here so they wouldn't get destroyed. At the bottom down here, I have a bunch of bait makers, so if I need to make bait really quickly for fish, I can just come and I just go across the whole bottom here, put all the fish in. It only takes 10 minutes too, so as soon as the time switches, I can head back the other way. It's just a really fast way to be able to make lots and lots of bait. I don't really put many things down in the town because so many people walk through here. It's kind of not worth figuring out. On Mondays, I come up here and I do this quest. So today is a Monday actually, so I would go and I grab the new quest here. I have my journal set that I've got a bunch of these quests that I have done, but I have not collected. And the reason I've done that is because if you leave them in your journal here uncollected, they cannot show up on the board. So as a result, the only 2 recurring quests that are left are these 2. So every single time I check the board, I just get these 2 quests. And I want that because these 2 are extremely fast to complete. For Gus's omelet, I just have to walk into the bar, put 24 eggs that I already have a chest for into Gus's fridge, and then go collect eggs from the coops I already have. For Robin's resource rush, the only thing I need to do is go back to the farm. You might have noticed, and I'll point it out when we get back there, but there are 4 deconstructors, each with 250 stone in them. I just collect that 1,000 stone, turn it back into 4 big stone chests and put them back in the deconstructors, and that completes this quest like immediately. So if this one becomes stone, I take this one. If it's wood, then I take this one, and that gets me one of these prize tickets. And while I'm doing that quest, after I finish grabbing the quest, I come in here and I ladder down. If I forget ladders like I did today, I've got a whole bunch of them in here, so I can just ladder on down. And this is where you get Lewis's purple shorts. Technically speaking, you can grab it, leave, and then come back in, and it will respawn the shorts every time you do that. So I could finish this up by just doing it over and over and over again, but it's just easier to do once a week. That way I'm not like bored out of my mind grabbing shorts over and over again. If we head up here, we can look at Gus's saloon really fast, the Star Drop Saloon. This is where I keep the eggs. I need to restock them soon. So all I have to do is I take this, click on the fridge, and I just like shift click them in, and then I can put them back in there. And that completes the first half of that quest, if I'm ever doing that. We do have Clint's house over here, which I do have to come to fairly often. The reason being is that in Clint's house is the only place where you can open certain geodes. I don't actually have any on me right now. Most geodes you can open with a geode crusher, but specifically golden coconuts and mystery boxes you cannot. So I have to come here if I have to open those. I'm all done with golden coconuts. However, as I pointed out, I am not done with mystery boxes. So as a result of that, we're gonna have to open up 100,000 mystery boxes with Clint, which is not gonna be fun. This is where my extra stuff from the mystery boxes that I don't need goes. Eventually, I'm gonna have to make this a large chest. Oh, artifact troves as well. You're right, Frayed Blood. I don't have to open those up anymore either, so I forgot about them. If we come up here really quickly here. Wait, did I get one? It's corn! It's got the juice. You have a chance of getting a movie ticket from that trash can once it's a movie theater. I do come here occasionally to play the crane game, and the reason being is that the crane game has these houseplants in it, although none of these are the correct houseplant, unfortunately. Basically, I have a script set, so these houseplants, this is the only houseplants in the game that are stackable. You can get them from this crane game here, and I'm almost done with them. I've only got a few more to go, but that's the only reason I come in here for. Up here is the bookseller, if he was here right now, and I have to come here every time he shows up because he has a chance of selling rare books, and each rare book only has like a 1 in 9 chance of showing up, so I have to come every single time to get all those rare books. And we're kind of a while away from finishing those. We kind of just started. We've got the community center up here. One of the annoying things about this area is that rocks and debris spawn. They spawn kind of slowly, but if you're sleeping for a lot of years, like I do sometimes, then they start to fill up the area really quickly. So I might actually pave over this area at some point in the future to prevent having to clean it up every so often. As you can see, I've already paved over this back area. And the reason being is that every spring second, today's spring 1st, so it won't be here yet, but every single spring second, so behind the community center, something called a Junimo statue spawns, and I need to stack that, so I can only get that once per year. I go on the egg festival day just to remember to do it on like a specific day, because otherwise I'd forget. My community center has not been touched in a very long time. I'm kind of hoping that Stardew 1.7, which is set to come out at some point in the future, will do something more with the community center, because I think that could be really fun. And that's everything over here. A lot of people ask why I have these paths over here by the river. The reason being is I used to have kegs here, but I removed the kegs here because it was slower than just having kegs in other places, and there's a limit to how many reasonable kegs you can have before it's unnecessary. I don't have anything in Pierre's or Harvey's. Same thing over here. I don't have anything in Haley Emily's house or Kent Jody's house either, but I do have some stuff in the sewer. So I have 999 statues of Endless Fortune, and if I need to grab the items from them, this is how I do it. I start here and I go all throughout the sewer Say hi to Krobus on the way by. Up here is the mutant bug lair. I don't have anything in here. I actually don't know if you can leave stuff in here. I think you can. So this is 999 statues of endless fortune if you include the ones in Cinder Sap as well. So I would go through all of this. I'm not going to do that today. But I also have some in the mastery room now that the mastery room is here, so I can cut through here and grab these as well. You might notice that these are in a very specific pattern. You see all of these open areas here where you can find the spring onions. I left those there on purpose because I had to collect a whole bunch of spring onions for the challenge. So this is my way of being able to still have this all here and still be able to collect all the spring onions. I'm done with spring onions now though, so I don't need to do that anymore. In fact, I'm done with the statues of endless fortune as well, but there's not really a good reason to clean them up. And if I ever need money in a pinch, this is a really good way to suddenly get a bunch of cash. I used to have them extended all the way up to the traveling cart because I used to collect on traveling cart days. Now, a bunch of people ask me why my Cinder Sap forest is all paved over like this. And the reason being is because debris spawns if you don't, especially in this area right here. In fact, I might need to redo this here. I don't know why that came out there, but debris can spawn in this area right here and it blocks my path. Because I take my horse from here up to the raccoons in the traveling cart. And so when debris spawns here, I have to start like going around or blowing it up. So just having it all blocked off is just a little easier over time. And as of a later update of 1.6, Forge can actually spawn on top of pathing. So this doesn't even stop Forge from spawning. Let's go back home. I think that is everything outside of the farm. So I think it's time to start talking about the farm. I think it might be a good idea to start inside though. As you can see, it's not exactly the most aesthetic place, although I've hung up some paintings in a very dignified way. You'll also see occasionally there's like a chair or a plant sitting on the ground. The reason being is that Leah will occasionally just like put stuff down and say, hey, isn't this nice, dear? And I'll be like, sure, sweetie, whatever you'd like. All right, over here, this is where I have a bunch of my unstackable items that I don't really need anymore, but I collect anyways. So like, these are some of the items from the museum and like a few others as well. I probably don't need 4 of these, but I have 4 of these, a bunch of extra paintings as well. And then over here is where I have all the movie posters. I think I'm still missing 1. Is it 8? Maybe I have all of them now. And then here's where I have all my cactuses. This is how many years I've gone to the Desert Festival. I've gotten a cactus for each one. Eventually, we're gonna have a lot more than this, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna collect them all. So we'll see eventually what we get from them. But as you can see, they're clearly labeled decoration. Any item in the game that's labeled decoration, like this here, this crystal chair, or the gourmet statues, you can see they don't stack together. So if it's got the decoration label, it's not going to stack. So while I do collect these for fun, and I get the occasional comments on my videos, oh my gosh, the cactus is going to be a pain, these cactuses do not stack. So even if I got 2 of the exact same, they would not stack with each other. Up here is my bulk storage. These are all the items I need to craft the statues of endless fortune. I have 999 stacks of sap, 999 stacks of stone, and 999 stacks of fiber. So the only thing I'm missing for my statues of blessing is the moss, which is why I'm collecting so much of it. Up here is my attic. This is just where I keep all of the, what do you call them? Catalogs, all the catalogs in case I want to decorate. And this is all of the antiquated stacks, all the items in the game that used to stack or in some way stacked differently before an update changed it. These all used to be void fences, but we're not stacking those anymore. I don't think they quite stack in the same way anymore either, but they don't quite work anymore. You can't really stack them anymore. These are all of the houseplants. So these do not stack anymore. Well, I mean, the other houseplant does, but these you can no longer get. Basically, and this is a thing here, so I can put this down. If I place these down now and pick them up, oh, wait, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, it reverts to the original one. What used to happen is if you placed one of these down and you changed it to another one and then picked that up, it would go to that new one. You only get one type of houseplant from the crane game. And so basically what these are is what you used to be able to turn that houseplant from the crane game into any other houseplant, but you can't do that anymore. Strange capsules also used to spawn infinitely in the game. You would get the overnight cutscene just every once in a while. They actually used to happen a lot. It got toned down a bit. That got changed in like a later 1.5 update, I think. So 1.5 allowed them to spawn. I mean, technically they could spawn before 1.5, but it was so rare that you never saw it. 1.5, they started spawning and they spawned too often. So CA made it so you can only get 1 per file. Statue of Perfection, you used to be able to glitch it in a way where you could get more than one of them, but I'm not going to cheat and use them because it was definitely not intended behavior, and you can no longer do that now. You used to be able to get iridium seaweed, but you can't anymore. This tub of flowers used to be an empty version. If you picked up the version when it was empty in winter, it would stay empty in your inventory, but now it just reverts to being a regular tub of flowers. And I guess this is my mermaid pendant. You can technically get 2 of these, but you can never have more than 2, I think, but you can't get a stack of them. So here's all my extra clothes. Whenever I get clothes, I just put them in here. If we come down here, I have 1 of every hat that I have in here. These used to have stuff for smelting. I don't think they do anymore. I have a bunch of extra stuff for cooking in case I need to like make something really quick, but I typically will just grab the stuff I need if I need to cook something. Usually also have a ton of wheat flour in here, but we are actually out at the moment. I have to go buy some. So I usually buy like 10 stacks of wheat flour at a time, and then that lasts me a while because I use that for the Q's quest for not prismatic range. Q's Cuisine was what that one's called. When these are ready, these have rubies in them, which is just a way to keep up my spicy eel supply. So every day I get out of bed, I just quickly grab these statues, grab the rubies if they're there, grab the coffee, put them all in here, and I'm ready to go for the day. This is where my extra food is. Down here is where I keep all of the cooking. So this is where some of the stackable items are. However, I'm gonna be turning them into gold quality, which means I have to recook all of these. Luckily, I've been collecting the ingredients I need to cook all of them, and those are all throughout here. And we're not done yet, we still need a few more, but this is pretty much everything you need to cook everything. The real problem with recooking everything is I need the Q seasoning for it. And as there are 81 cooked dishes, I'm gonna need 81,000. In the house here, we've got two things left. Up here, this is where I keep all of my stuff for fishing. So these are all the baits that I use for fishing. I could stand to get rid of some of them now. And then these chests here just contain all of the bobbers that I use. You can see I've got some overflow for cork bobbers because I made too many. Curiosity lures, trap bobbers, treasure bobbers, and sonar bobbers. These are the only ones that I actually use for the fishing I do in the challenge. So these are the only ones I actually need here. The curiosity lures I have to get from monster drops. So every time I run out of these, I have to go kill a whole bunch of mummies to refill them. It doesn't take quite as long as you might think, but it does take quite a while for sure. Over here, these are my, what do you call these, trinkets. So I have one of each trinket in here, including the frog eggs, every color of frog egg, every level of parrot, every level of fairy box. And then these are all unique different quivers in here. There's so many different ones though that I don't think I'm ever going to collect them all, but it's just kind of fun to have them here. This is where all the extra rings go, and then each one of these chests is a different kind of ring. So if we go through here, you can see all the different types of rings are in here. Like you go through, you can see all of them here, all the way up to here. There's actually one ring that I don't have any of. This would be the immunity band if I had any, but I'm actually completely out of them right now. Eventually, I'm going to plan on filling up all of these, so I have not done so yet, as you can see. Why not put them in the dresser? Ah, that's a good question, Bobby. So the reason why I have one chest for each of the rings, because I do put them in the dresser, any extras I have go in here, but the reason why I have one chest for each ring is because I want to eventually, this is like a side quest, this isn't part of the challenge, but I want to eventually make one of every possible ring combination. I think there are 27 rings, or something very close to that. Basically, if I have a whole chest of all of these rings, I'll be able to make a combination of every single ring, but it's gonna take a long time. I might even have to grind a little bit for some of these guys here, like the Phoenix ring and the immunity band. The rest of them we should have enough. We have to get some more hot Java rings, but everything else is like craftable or purchasable. That's a side quest, that's not part of the challenge, but it has this little dedicated area to it. Okay, that is everything inside the house. This is my farm. So every morning I come out of my door, I come over here and I check the mail really quick. I usually get something useless, so I delete it. And I come grab these two things and drop them off. I have over here just like very common things here. We're gonna go through our chests at the end, but I'll talk about these now. This is just where my shipping items go. Technically, I have a shipping bin on the very left side of the farm in case I need to ship a whole bunch of stuff for some reason, because the mini shipping bin only lets you ship 9 items. This goes over to the left side of the farm. So if I need to access the silo to fill up any of the missing hay or the greenhouse or these barns here, that's a quick way to do that. You'll see I've got 2 meteors here. I just found it funny that they landed here, so I leave them. One thing I've added fairly recently, in fact, is the sap up here. I need sap to make quality bobbers. So I just made a few trees up here for me to be able to collect sap from. So these are hardwood trees. Hardwood trees drop sap from a tapper. So I'll occasionally come up here and grab that when I need more sap. These are all of my fish ponds. Everyone always asks me, why do you have these fish ponds in this weird pattern? Couldn't you fit more if you did something slightly differently? Yes, I probably could fit some more, but you'll notice that each of these fish ponds has the same thing on its diagonal. So this one got 100 and all of these have 100 slime as well. That means I only have to collect from these fish ponds that have the slime in them. I don't have to worry about collecting from the other ones. And the reason they do that is because of legacy RNG. Basically, the pattern on screen follows like a Knight's Move pattern. So we go up and over, up and over, up and over. And so everything along the same diagonal is gonna have the same gift from the fish pond. So this saves me a lot of time collecting from them because I don't have to like search the whole farm to see, hey, do I need to grab like the 100 slime that's over in that corner? Instead, I can immediately see this one had slime, or sorry, it was this one up here had slime, this one has slime, and this one has slime, and those are the only diagonals I need to collect from. We will not have fish ponds for too much longer though. We're doing a good job of basically getting done with those fish ponds. So as a result of that, we're only going to need the fish ponds for probably year 100 we'll be done with them. As soon as we're done with the red slime eggs, hopefully we will be by year 100, we can get rid of them. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do to replace them. I've had them for so long now that it feels weird to get rid of them all. But there's nothing else we need from the fish ponds when we're done with the slime. That is the majority of the farm for the moment. My one lone Statue of Endless Fortune, this is here for a reason. This is so I can see what the daily Statue of Endless Fortune is. If I got coconuts, because there's one day where it gives coconuts, it's Linus's birthday, so I should just memorize that, obviously. But this is a visuals check to be like, oh, it's coconut day, so I go get it. This is my 999th Statue of Endless Fortune. Down here, I have all of these coops. You aren't able to see on the far side down here, but I can open this chest that I have along the edge, and then this is where all of my golden chickens are. Right now, this is like an example of what a golden chicken barn looks like. They produce quite a lot of eggs per day. They all have golden animal crackers, so they produce a lot. This is basically my way of making money, so I can just go through and collect them. I only added the rest of these coops recently, as you can probably tell by their lack of painting. One last thing before we get to the chests. We have a mushroom tree down here. Now, technically there isn't supposed to be a mushroom tree out of bounds here. I'm not 100% sure how it got there. There's not even a tree here, I think, on most standard farms. So I think what happened is there was a plantable spot down here, and I had a mushroom tree on the farm, and the seed spread over to out of bounds. For whatever reason, there was a plantable spot there. And as a result of that, it became a mushroom tree. And this one, by the way, this mushroom tree just recently showed up. Lightning struck and broke this spot, and the mushroom tree out of bounds spread the seed in bounds here. And I wanted to keep this mushroom tree here for fun now. I'll eventually probably get rid of it because it's a little in the way. These two chests down here, speaking of chests, these are our extra animal products. As you can see, I've gathered a lot of extra animal products over the years, but none of it is required for the challenge at this point. On the left side here, we have our stable that has our horsey in it. We have our golden clock prominently displayed, so you can see it very clearly. And then we have a shipping bin here in case we need to ship anything else very quickly, because the mini shipping bin can only take 9 items. And then on the left side here, we have all of our silos. And in this chest, we have all of our extra hay, which we occasionally have to go to Marnie to fill up. And this is my only barn in case I need the milk for anything. And then it's got a whole bunch of ostriches, which technically I don't need anymore. It would be more efficient to have a coop here, but I find it hard to get rid of it. All right. So new day, because it was starting to kind of dark out, and there's one last thing for us to go over, which is why I've zoomed all the way in, and that's the chests. I did already talk about these deconstructors. Just as a reminder, I use these to complete Robin's quest each week if she asks for stone, because I can just do this, grab 1,000 stone, which would complete the quest, and then I can immediately craft it back into 4 big stone chests, put them back in, and then it's good to go. In an hour, it'll be 1,000 more stone to be collected. So that's a really quick way to complete the quest. Each of these chests are very important, but some of them are more important than others, as we're going to find out in a second here. But basically, I have a few things here. You can see it kind of cuts off on the side here, so hopefully that isn't too distracting from you. But behind these chests here, there's just the fence on the edge of the property here. I'm on the standard farm. I did not have a choice, by the way. People always ask me, like, why'd you pick the standard farm? When I started this challenge, there was no choice. There was only the standard farm when I started this file, I should say. In the black chests, which go all the way down, these are all like mining resources. So if we start at the top here, this is where I've got all of my copper bars, gold bars, iridium bars, iron bars, radioactive bars, all the ores for all those things as well, refined quartz. I don't actually have quartz in here. Weirdly, that one I consider more of just like a mineral, so that kind of goes in the second chest. And then all the coal. As you can see, I mostly just keep 1 stack and 1 extra. I have a few extra coal in here, but I will need those pretty soon anyways. Because down here, we have all of our geodes, all of our gems, and some of our minerals. The minerals that you can just find in in the mines. So things like earth crystals, quartz, fire quartz, frozen tears. The ones you can just find on the ground are in here. This is my extra chest. So this is anything that like goes over the typical amount that I would keep in the normal chest. You'll see this is a recurring theme because I like these stackable chests to look pretty clean. And then these are all the minerals that you get from geodes. And I didn't get them from geodes. I got a few from geodes, and then I did the rest in the crystallariums because you can just repeat them from there. A bunch of people always ask me about the gold quality quartz, by the way. This is a good time to bring that up. Gold quality quartz is no longer available in the game. In fact, this should probably go in my antiquated stacks chest, technically, but it looks nice in here. But I didn't actually gather this much gold quality quartz, because if you put a gold quality quartz, or any quality mineral, although they aren't available anymore at all, into a crystallarium, it puts back out a gold quality or any quality mineral as well. So even though I had only a few left over, I was able to make a whole stack of them for fun. And that's all the black chests there. They're like minerals and such like that. On this side here, these are my monster drops. Slime eggs, we got our dragon's teeth, we've got galaxy souls. Squid ink I technically consider a monster drop, even though you can also get it from fish ponds. It just fits better in here, I think. Bat wings, bug meat, slime, solar essence, and void essence. And then this chest is also monster drops, but it's just all the extra stuff. Down here in the slightly gray chests, these are our resources. So you can see I include algae and seaweed and the jellies in here as well, even though they're kind of like fishing items. I've got things like bone fragments and battery packs. The things that are actually labeled resources are in here. And I also include the tapper products as resources as well, even though they're technically artisan goods, just because they're used in so many crafting recipes. On the left side here, this is where I keep all the extra stuff. You can see we've got a bunch of batteries from over the years. Got a bit extra hardwood, a lot of stone. When the stone gets too much, I start turning it into ladders, just because I have so much of it and I don't need any more. And then a few other things as well. This far side here is just reserved for one thing though, and that is clay. We have almost an entire double chest of clay, and I have no real reason to get rid of it, so I've just been kind of collecting it as we go. I actually have more if you remember back earlier in the video in the dig site farm. Down here, these are all of our artifacts and books. I'm using the stars as a space filler as well here, and this is all of the books. As you might be able to just barely make out here, if I were to add all of these books, because this is one of every book in here, into here, it just barely does not fit. So as much as I would like to combine them all into one, it doesn't all fit into one chest. So I just decided to separate out the books into their own chests. All the ones that you can buy, I'm done with, but everything else I just have to kind of get slowly over time. And then this last chest here, these are just extra artifacts. Rather than just deleting it, I just kind of throw it in here. Down here, these are some of the more impressive stack chests. Well, not this middle one, but these are kind of all the craftables. So here are our big craftables. Some of these technically aren't craftable, but I consider them kind of like machines. So I want to put them all in the same chest. So we've got all the ones here. So some of these craftable items required a lot of work, such as the ostrich incubator. And even though I'm not done with it, like the deluxe worm bin, and the worm bin in general was pretty bad. So this is the remaining amount I need to craft into there, and it's going to require moss, which I just don't have yet. You might see a few of them that should be done but aren't, such as the heavy tapper and the fish smoker. Both of these are done, but I'm currently using the machines in other places. I still consider them done though, because I can just pick those machines up at any time and bring them back over here. You might notice that there are a few things missing from this group here. I specifically brought out every path and every lighting option and put them in a separate chest, and fences are here as well. And I call these kind of like infrastructure and lighting, just to kind of have it as a separate category, because these are a little different from the other ones. And then finally, these are our decoration items. Most of these you can buy. Some of them you cannot. You can very clearly see which ones we can't buy. Oh, actually we can buy the tea set now. Because they're the ones that are not done. Let's go back to the top, and this is our Junimo chest, just in case I need any tools. This is my like extra stuff chest. So these are like other tools. If I like need the slingshot for Skull Caverns, or my different weapons if I'm not using this one. Like this is my Crusader weapon for killing mummies, so I'll grab that one if I need it. This is the Iridium needle. This is gonna be what I'm gonna use to kill the children. It sounds so bad. The cursed dolls in the witch's hut. I have to re-roll the crit chance a few more times to get a better outcome. But this one's pretty good as it is. These are my special items. So these are the like kind of gift items or consumable items. Actually, most of the consumable items are over here. As you can see, we've got all of our totems and everything in here. Q seasoning, butterfly powder, some of like the rarer things you can go buy. And then over here, these are kind of like the gifted items. So the movie tickets are in here, even though they don't technically need to be. But like things like golden bobbers, the shorts, the void ghost pendants. These are like the really rare items that no one even thinks about stacking, but technically they do stack, so I have to collect them. And yeah, the consumables are in here. I've got green for vegetables, so these are all the vegetable items. I have not cleaned these up as much as I have with the other ones, but technically these are in alphabetical order, so we go from amaranth to garlic, green bean to squash, and then down here we have taro until yam. So I kind of split them up evenly between alphabetical items, and then the red down here is the fruits, and I've done the same thing for them. I used to have a separate chest for tree fruits, but then I just figured, well, I'll just mix them in. It's not a big deal. So all of these are alphabetical, from ancient fruit to crystal fruit, then from grape to pomegranate, and then from, oh, this one's kind of weird, powder melon to wild plum. But sweet gemberry isn't technically considered a fruit, although I consider it a fruit, so it doesn't have the fruit tag, but I still put it here because it's definitely a fruit. Question, has fishing been the best way to get golden animal crackers? For now, yes, but I'll get enough from golden mystery boxes and from killing the liberated children. I'm going to use about half of these to finish up the rest of the golden chickens. I'll do the rest up here as well. These are all of the forge, so everything in the game that's labeled forge is in here. except for the mushrooms, which are in this chest over here. So these are all the mushroom stacks. These are all done. So everything in here is completed. Over here, these 4 chests are all the seeds. So the bottom here are the seeds in alphabetical order, all the way from amaranth seeds to mixed seeds, and then from parsnip seeds down to yam seeds. So these are all the seeds in the game, a stack of each of them. Most of these were purchasable, some of them were not. The only one that's not done in both of these chests is the mixed flower seeds, and that's because it's so new. Technically, I could grind it out, but I'm getting enough over time that there's no real reason to force it. Up here, we have all of our fertilizers, and then over here are all the tree seeds. I also have the grass starter in here because I wasn't really sure where to put it. We're not done with the mossy seeds yet, but eventually they'll fill up here. These took a long time, the mystic tree seeds. And then technically speaking, all of the fruit tree seeds would be here too, except they're currently all on the island, which you saw earlier. So all of those are getting converted into iridium, and then they'll be put back in here. These 2 purplish chests in the middle are all of our artisan goods that aren't things that you put into an artisan machine. Kind of hard to explain actually, because those are down there, and we'll talk about those later on, but you'll see when I look at it. So these are like all the honey, the cloth. I guess you do put them in artisan machines, but it's not like the big ones. I guess pale ale doesn't belong in here anymore, but this is just extra. All the mayos are in here. Technically, this is extra wine as well. I might need to clean this up a little bit. Same with extra green tea, because I moved a bunch of these around and I never actually like cleaned it up afterwards. And then this one is all the animal products. So this is 1 stack of every animal product, most of which are iridium, some of which are not iridium yet. But they will be at one point. We just have to grind it out. Down here is all the flowers. I actually put all of the stackable flowers in this chest here. I've got 1 for each color as well. You can see the non-iridium ones are the ones you buy from the cart, and then all the rest of these flower chests, these are just extra stacks of flowers. These top light blue chests here are all the fish in the game. So I recently separated these out a little differently here, but we'll talk about these darker blue chests first. These top ones are like bait, some of the baits and some of the other fish related items that aren't technically fish. I have to keep them close to the fish, I feel like, because they are like fish items, and these are the normal baits, we'll call them. And then down here we have all of the targeted baits. So this is every single targeted bait in the game, all stacked to 999. In here we have all of the iridium fish in the game that I've finished so far, and some that I'm still working on. These up here are flooring. These are just to fill space so that when I press this button, if I have any extra, it doesn't go into the chest. And then these are gonna eventually be all of the smoked iridium fish in the game. You can see I've already smoked all of these here, and these are the ones that are waiting to be smoked. Once I get enough of them, we'll smoke these as well. These are all extra fish over here as well. So this is just any extra fish I have go in these chests here. This chest down here, this first stone chest, is trash. We also have a random radish juice in here. I don't remember why, but it's there now, so it's gonna stay there. This is all extra craftable items. I do use this chest quite a bit though, because sometimes I need more crystallariums or deconstructors or dehydrators for stuff. This is all of the weapons in the game. I feel like maybe I'm missing a few. I have to go double check. It's not part of my challenge, but I just thought it'd be kind of fun to have them out here. This is all the rings and all the boots. So this is 1 of every ring in the game. And then I've got all the boots here as well. This is all the roe in the game. The only 2 I'm not done with are squid and midnight squid, but everything else is here. And if we go down 1 more, this is all the aged roe in the game. Again, midnight squid and squid are the only 2 that are not done. The ones along the bottom here, these are all of the artisan goods that you can make in kegs, dehydrators, or jars. So this is all the jarred roe. This is all the jarred jelly and pickles. This is all of the kegged juice and wine. You can see I've made all of the wine in the game iridium as well. And this is all the dehydrated goods. And that is all of my chests, except for this one. This is just my extra diamonds. I didn't know where else to put them, so they're in here. So this is emergency money if I need it, basically. And that is all of the chests in my 999 challenge. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a lot about my farm from my farm tour and got to see everything that was in each of the chests. I tried to answer as many questions as I could today, because I know a lot of people have questions about the farm, like why I have things like the places I do and whatnot. And I thought this would be a good way to have a video where I can very easily point to the video and say, I explained it in there. Not that I mind questions in stream and whatnot, but this is just a very good way to completely do that. But thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you guys all in the future. Bye, everybody.